The Triangle City Theorem, or the TcT, states the following.
To first rule the mighty hex is to first rule the 6 triangles that comprise it. For the ultimate strength that defines the hex are the solid bases that support it.
All around, this is the theory of city building that has proven to be the most effective in my many runs of Endless Legends. To build as many strong cities as possible, all following this very simple base. The triangle. See, in Endless Legends 2, districts are one of the main ways that you improve the resources you can get from a city, and most districts have a very unique mechanic where if they're surrounded by at least 4 other districts, they rank up to a higher level, effectively doubling their efficiency. This can be especially impactful in the early game where resources are low and you want to maximize every production, dust, or influence spent. Which brings me to the TcT. See, if we look at a simple hex map and we draw a simple hex triangle, we will notice something very interesting. With just 10 hex tiles, we can have a total of 7 hex tiles which have already met the requirement to rank up. Not only that, but we also have at least 1 tile that has 6 adjacencies to it, that being the center tile. So, great. Place your city in the center, build around it, and call it a day, right? Wrong. See, in the TcT, we aim to maximize the value of not only the number of hexes we evolve, but also what exactly we are evolving. By having the city center be in the center of the triangle, we're actually missing a very valuable spot that can gain benefits from being next to other tiles, namely the forum. The forum doesn't actually care what it is next to, as it gains its bonus influence for anything around it that is counted as a district. As such, we actually want the forum to be at the center of the triangle, not the capital. As for the rest, we also have to consider that 3 points will necessitate them having lower adjacencies. Bridges, extractors, havens, and most importantly, camp attachments. They don't require any adjacencies as they already start at the maximum level they can be, making them the perfect thing to put in the corners. However, farms next to rivers or labs adjacent to an anomaly will also function, as those buildings gain most of their power from tech improvements rather than from level. With that in mind, what's the best way to create this triangle? For starters, the most important thing will be where we put our capital. Excluding the last lords, every faction wants to have their capital start next to a river source. The reason being quite simple. The river source provides a massive amount of early food production, and being counted as both an anomaly and a river tile means that we can give our labs both a hydro pump improvement, a 5 gold and 5 production, as well as the 8 bonus science that the research station provides. Having a river also means that we gain adjacency benefits for our farms in the early game, and then again, we can buff them in the mid game thanks to the irrigation channel improvement. Securing this particular start gives a very consistent source for gold, science, food, and even a little production, making it one of the best starts anyone could ask for. However, if we really want to optimize, we're also going to want for the capital to have a claimable territory within 3 hex tiles of it, preferably opposite to where the river stands. This won't always be available, but looking for the opportunity is a good way to accelerate district placement, as early on, getting foundations is very expensive. Building a camp on the border of another territory and then attaching it to the city will actually be a much cheaper way of getting foundations, and the camp district can also be used as a way to fill in for the corners of the triangle. So at the end, we will look for something like this. You will have 3 forums in a triangle formation, with one of them forming the core of the district chain. 2 markets next to each other in the middle of the triangle in order to leave a good spot for a habitation district later into the game. A camp attachment, which will be at one of the corners of the triangle, while your main capital will be in one of the tiles surrounding our main forum. As for the last slots, we will fill those in with farms or labs in order to quickly level up our capital and its surrounding districts. Once this is complete, your capital, your forums, and your 2 markets will be at max level, giving you a very stable economy of dust, and influence to help you develop new cities early. And assuming the best case scenario, you'll even have a couple of river tiles giving your farms additional food production, and a couple lab spots next to a river source ready to get additional bonuses once you get the respective improvements. Since the first 2 districts that you build have pretty low costs, achieving this as early as the first monsoon is actually quite easy, and it is a good way to set yourself up to build a second city super early. Repeating the same process again, just keep in mind that the hydropump improvement can only be built once per empire, so a second river city might not actually be necessary. By the end, in an ideal world, your capital will look something like this. As for cities beyond your capital, the theory remains largely the same. Build compact cities and try to put districts into a triangle formation. However, the objective becomes a bit different. See, the capital's main purpose is to create as much influence as possible in order to create more cities. The external city's main purpose, however, will be to provide gold, science, and extractable resources to boost the capital through improvements. This means that the main thing a new city will want will be as many extractors as one can get, alongside at least one high-value anomaly to build labs around. The research station will provide a +8 science to all the labs that you place next to an anomaly. So with that in mind, the goal for new cities will be to reach at least 100 science, while also taking advantage of trading posts and cheaper markets to reach around 150 gold per turn. Extractors, trading posts, anomalies, labs, marketplaces. That will be the goal of what we want and what we will focus our triangle around. Do keep in mind that without a river, food will be pretty difficult to acquire, which is why for external cities, the main priority will be focusing on communal habitation districts, and focusing all the population into food production. Another key part for this will be the rewilding feature. Rewilding has many benefits, but the main one we care about is the ability to improve the food production on tiles in the territory. This additional bonus will greatly help with growing your external cities to a reasonable size. Later into the game, when growth stagnates, usually at around the 15 population mark, it is generally a safe bet to switch your populations into artisans or scribes in order to get more benefits from them. As long as you keep this theorem in mind when building cities, you will notice the performance of your cities improve quite a bit. While terrain might not always allow for perfect placement, the main key points of maximizing space for as cheap as possible will still apply. Try to do the best that you can with what you are given, and go out there and dominate Sayara. Hope this helps. This has been Portals.